Is this thing working? Hello, friends. Welcome. Hello. As the title says, this is my experience working as a tattoo artist at my first tattoo shop. Uh, and as most probably everyone's first experience is kind of everyone's experience differs. So this isn't like you know a, a bad talk about the shop or anybody there. So I just want to get that out the way. This is my experience at my first shop. So I'm no longer there at the shop. I left um, a month ago from recording this. And recently I heard the shop closed down or closed their doors for good. The web page is down. The Instagram is down. On Google Maps, it says it's permanently closed. Um, it's sad. It was my first shop. I didn't own it. When I say my first shop, this is my first shop that I worked at. Um, so I just kind of want to talk about it and then talk about what I would have done differently or if I was the shop owner. Of course, we can all armchair quarterback Monday morning armchair quarterback all day long. That's not what I'm bashing on them about. I'm just saying, like, my experience and the suggestions I offered and the help that I put forth to make that shop as successful as possible because I wanted to be successful. It was my first tattoo shop. I wanted to succeed. I want to see the shop succeed. I treated the shop as if it was my own, if that makes sense. I treated the shop as if it was my own. And I did that wholeheartedly without complaint. So this isn't about me complaining about, oh, I did this and I did that, or I was made to do this and I wasn't made to do anything. I did everything. I did everything with a happy heart and a smile on my face, and because I wanted to make money, I wanted to see the shop succeed, and I just treated it like as if it was my own shop. It was fun. And it was a great opportunity. I'm very thankful for being hired and working there and being part of that team. Um, just there would be some things if I could do differently. No, not me do differently. But just as a maybe like they say, communication is key. But you can only communicate so much if no one's listening. It's you know what I mean. It's sink or swim at that point. So let me get started with maybe the first thing. So I got hired, my first tattoo shop. Um, very grateful. Brought in a lot of my artwork on during the interview. Very laid back interview, obviously, because we're tattoo artists. We're not going in with a suit. It's ain't corporate. That's corporate. Ugh. So my initial impressions were cool. It's an anime shop. I love anime. I don't watch a lot of it as much as I used to, but the main artist there, which was like the partner co-owner of this shop, not partner or co-owner with me, partner with another co-owner of the shop, which I'd kind of get into. Cool guy, likes anime, likes video games. A lot of things we agreed on, a lot of things we disagreed on, but he was my mentor, and I went into this shop with an open mind and a very humble personality, I guess you could say. Actually, we got closer and became more friends, and we could kind of joke around and do like that. But for the first couple months, I really was like humble, you know what I mean? But throughout the whole time, I learned a lot from him. Uh, he was my mentor. He mentored me. I asked a lot of questions, overwatched him, sat there next to him when I'm not tattooing, watching him tattoo. But that's the only way that you can learn. That's how I treat this as if it was an apprenticeship, to be honest. And I didn't really mind that at all. When I went in, I swept. I didn't have to be told to sweep. I just did it because one, I don't like being told what to do. I mean, I'm not saying, hey, you need to do. I'm not talking about the tattoo aspect. There were some times I did get feedback like, why? Because I was just trying to learn. But as far as I'm an adult, I'm a grown ass man. and I treated it like it was my own, and I don't like being told what to do. You know, I could sweep and mop every day I was there. Take out the trash at night. I didn't have to be told. Clean the bathrooms, clean up after myself, just tidy up. Especially when there's no walk-ins or just no downtime. I would try to even fix things because I used to be a handyman. So help hang up things in the shop and stuff like that. So yeah, so treated it as if it was like, because it was my first shop. Treated it like it is a first shop. This is your opportunity to show them what you're made out of, and not just going there with a shitty attitude. I'm not seeing. I mean, this is kind of what I've seen the younger tattoo artists, these younger kids, that because now you can learn everything now on YouTube and the internet. A lot of them are self-taught. A lot of them are, which is what we call scratchers, and nothing wrong on that. Self-taught's okay as long as you're learning and you keep doing better. But you got to humble yourself, and so even me being, you can see I got gray hair. We probably don't know how old I am, but I'm not going to say my age. But I'm not that old. I got gray hair at an early age for some reason. I am George Clooney, I guess. And I think the ladies like it. So a little peppered look, distinguished. Anyway, so I treated the shop like it was my own. So yeah, swept, mop, did my dues, and taking it a step further, the shop is new. So, and if I maybe worked at a couple shops, this probably wouldn't be the shop I'd go to if I already was in the tattoo industry, tattooing at shops years prior. Even if I was tattooing at a shop for a year, because even going in this with no tattoo shop experience, just life experience, I can kind of tell there wasn't some things set in place at this shop that should have been there already. And one of those is as simple as a fucking tattoo sign. It doesn't need to be fancy. The sign ain't got to be gold plated. Ain't got to be like big ass lights and fireworks come out of it, but big old red letters on one of those plastic banners or of some sort. Like the grand opening things you see shops or new stores will have tied up with rope and stuff like that. Attached like a banner that says tattoo, or they even sell one of those things that you can stick out of the ground with a base and it's like a flag, or as simple as having it vinyl cut and put it on the windows. So they didn't have that. They had some anime painted stuff on the windows, but you had to get up real close to even notice that it was even a tattoo shop. And even then, no one even noticed. So I took it upon myself to put big old red letters down. They had really big, nice, tall windows in the front of the shop, all along the shop. Big old tall windows. Sucks I didn't have the big wide windows. That would have been great, but they had these big long windows. So I put big ass tattoo right down the window and red hand painted that motherfucker on there. So they didn't ask me, they didn't force me. I'm not complaining about it. I just wanted the shop to say, hey, we need to get people's attention because I need to get walk-ins. I need to make money. The shop needs to make money. If they ain't successful, I ain't successful. You know what I mean? So hand painted that. The next day, I think on another column of the window, I put custom tattoos, and it's very simple so people could read it because there's a lot more letters at that point. Custom tattoos, walk-ins welcome, appointments available, stuff like that. And then I can go on and detail what we did on the inside of the shop. As far as hanging up signs and posters and stuff like that. A lot of stuff I did on my own and brought in stuff of my own. But the shop did not have the outside advertisement. And I say this like, like imagine you and me are going to open up a pizza shop. We're going to sell pizza pies, whatever. Just a normal ass pizza shop. Well, imagine we open up a shop, but we don't put pizza on the outside of the shop. And it doesn't matter if it's just art. We don't got the money for a fancy sign yet. You can get, like I said earlier, big ass vinyl canvas, whatever they call that thing, that banner, and say grand opening or new pizza shop, whatever. Um, Same thing when you see the pizza shops going on back on the pizza shops. When you see those mom and pop ones, typically you'll see they're called like Anthony's Pizza, right? Barely see Anthony on there. No one cares. It's called Anthony. They might be like, "Hey, Anthony's Pizza, yeah, they're good," but there's so many Anthony pizzas that they're not really a chain. They're just Anthony's Pizza. But you see Anthony's usually kind of small, but you see pizza is big and red. That's to attract people and get their attention. Like, hey, there's pizza over there because they don't care if it's as long as it's good pizza. It's good pizza. They can smell it, you buy it, and they can take it home and eat it. Successful off the start. How you can have a tattoo shop that got tattoo on the outside? You shouldn't even open the doors at that point until you got some kind of sign, and then you can open the doors. So, and then also the shop wasn't in the best location by far. It was not in the best location. I mean, it wasn't like the worst location, but it wasn't even like obviously not a great location. It wasn't even a good location. Could it have been? Yeah, maybe, but man, it wasn't. And I say this because the shop was near downtown, kind of like really in downtown, and the parking, there was no like front parking. I forgot what they call that, where you just could just drive up, you just park right there. It was like side street parking, and you had to pay at the like a meter. And they don't got the traditional meters where you put coins. This is like a virtual. So a lot of the new clients had to go outside, tell them to download the app, blah 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 blah. You got to punch in all your information, all that stuff. What sucked about this side parking was sometimes there wasn't side parking because I guess the apartment above us, people were too cheap to park where I don't know. There's a garage parking as well, but that's all assigned for residents. The parking on the street is always taken up because after 5 or 6 in the evening, it was free. But anytime before that, and when's tattoos usually happen in the evening typically, and on the weekend, typically towards later on the day, and then the parking's taken up. So, dude, that's what sucks about it. And then going back to the app, we got to pay. So it's a 2-hour max to park there, right? You could go out there and redo it, but you got to move your car. And you can't move your car like to the next little parking spot or across the street. They call that the same zone. You got to park in a whole nother zone. That whole nother zone is like a block around the shop, and it's on like a not so good part of the neighborhood. And that's another thing, it wasn't in a good part of the neighborhood. There's a part of downtown where they just started kind of gentrifying this area, but you still got the hood. And it's not like anything against the hood, but it's got the hood, and there's really no walk traffic. It's not downtown or the heart of downtown. It's way off on the outside of way of downtown. So the parking was horrible. So 2 hours. So by the time you just got them sitting down after they filled out their forms and got your machines and everything set up, and you're ready to tattoo them. Oh, in 30 minutes, they got to move the car or they're going to get a ticket. And trust me, the meter maids are out there and they get tickets, and it's like $35. So you might as well pay the $3, So you got to move it. You got to wrap up their arm or whatever you're tattooing because it's fresh tattoo. And they got to walk all the way back. And they probably got to do this 2 or 3 times depending on how long this tattoo is going to take. So that was one of the things. Like, the location was not great. Doesn't mean it wasn't bad, because right across the street, County Corner across the street, is a college, a new downtown college with a dorm with quite a bit of students. And an expensive loft, some condominium loft that was really bougie. So that you had that, and he has some new businesses, like a big corporate company that makes video games was literally building, almost done, like right down the road. So those nerds would probably love coming to that tattoo shop to get nerd tattoos, because the tattoo shop was very nerd anime themed, a very nerd anime themed shop, which was nothing wrong with that. But that's some things I would have just done differently. One, have a sign before you even open the doors. Have a sign. Doesn't matter if it's temporary. Yes, I made a temporary tattoo on the window, which did help, because when I did have clients come over, before they were like, "Where's the shop at?" I'm in the area, and then now they can see this big ass painted tattoo on the window. But I'm not complaining I did it. I'm just saying, as a hired artist, I shouldn't have to. Is what I'm saying. Um, I should be there probably depending on what it is. But because I took it in as this is my first shop, felt like giving back. I treat it like it was my own. It seemed like they needed help. Um, yeah, I mean, then I have some tattoo friends who are like, ha ha ha, free labor. Yeah, it is what it is. But at the same time, I kind of liked helping out. You know, it's kind of fun. It was kind of like I had the freedom to create, and I like creating. And if I didn't have tattoos coming in, why not? I have downtime. Why not put forth some effort, you know, to give back? You know, I mean, it is a shop that they didn't have to hire me fresh out of nowhere, you know. Um, they didn't have to. So I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying as a business owner, I would have focused more on the business, you know, make sure it succeeds. Another thing is the one of the co-owner was working a full-time job and living in another state. So that I think had a big part of that because the other co-owner was the main artist. And when you're the main artist and you're making majority of the money because your art pieces are typically bigger because he's got a bigger clientele, repeat customers are getting bigger or more pieces. Um, you know, he's raking in more the dough for the shop. But he's got to focus on the art. He can't be the business guy too. That's got to be separate. Either you got to be one or the other. And I don't know business that well, but from my understanding and from other artists and shop owners I talk to, somebody's got to be 100% taking care of the administrative portion, the admin side of the business, just handling everything from ads to the money to everything else. You can't have the artist do that as well. Now, should he on the side on his downtime learning more about business strategies? Of course. If I was like and say in 7 years and I become like, oh man, I built up this clientele and I'm got my tattoo artwork has become better, and then I just open up a shop, I'm going to be doing all my research to what I can do to run the shop better, be a better businessman as well as an artist. But it's hard to juggle two of that. That's I can't see how that's possible, especially when you're like the main artist, you know, and you're hiring like myself, you're hiring like me and another artist or two that are literally just starting. They don't have much clientele and they're not that experienced, you know. Um, that's another thing. I mean, I'm not saying they weren't trying to get a good artist. I don't think they were, but I'm assuming. But honestly, I don't think they were. It just seemed like they, at least from my personal opinion and my views, that the main artist didn't want to have someone in there better than him. I mean, I may be speculating, but it kind of seemed that way. So they could have maybe got another artist. Um, but no, they didn't. Or maybe they did and they just didn't want to. Like I said, if I was working at a shop before and I came upon a shop, I'm like, no, it's y'all don't even have this and that and that. Plus the shop, other than the location and some of the other the business side things that weren't taken care of. The inside of it looked like an apartment. It was one of those live and work things that they call. It looked too much like an apartment. It didn't have that tattoo feel. And a lot of people did say it was dope. It was a dope shop upon initial impression, but it just didn't seem like even when they said that, they never came back. You know, either they came in and check it out, never came back, or they came in and got a tattoo and never came back. And I think partial of that is the location. And even though it looks cool on the inside, somewhat cool, um, you know, they just never, it didn't have the tattoo sort of shop. And I'm saying all tattoos shops got to look all alike, but it's just, you got this huge open area in the middle. And then you got these two little rooms. It's like literally like an apartment, these two little apartment rooms on the side. There's like no mirrors except the bathrooms. Um, you know, gotta have some mirrors at least inside. Plus, mirrors will give your place feeling of it being bigger than it is. Um, but most tattoo shops have like these huge mirrors around and like Victorian frames and stuff like that. I'm not saying you got to get stuff like that, but you could start off with small, eventually get bigger, like get one of those Walmart door mirrors that are like $15. When I having to go to the bath, use the restroom for a mirror to look at your tattoo. Because a lot of them are getting tattooed on their legs, they can't see their leg because of there's a sink in the way. Um, you know, but other than that, like I learned a lot from my mentor there, and I highly respect him. Um, I had to leave because there was just things I was seeing that weren't being done on that end. They're expecting the young artists like myself and other artists to kind of push the advertisement and like with through social media, and which every artist should. You should be advertising for yourself or for wherever you're working at. But to be pushing that like every day or being hounded on, like, hey, gotta get people for $20 tattoos, whatever it takes. That you can tell like it's getting desperate, and then it makes the artist look desperate. And I'm telling you, from a person who gets tattoos or other people, when they see it's too desperate, it doesn't matter. They're just kind of like, it just seems too thirsty. You know what I mean? It's just better to put out like, hey, we got this shop deal going on, or the main artist could have, whether it's just him or maybe they hired two good artists. Like you have two good artists, and if you still wanted to hire an experienced or beginner amateur artist, you still do that. You have like two of them, right? So you have two good artists, two amateur artists, and you could say, we're doing a deal or specials on get apprenticeship tattoos for $50. You have a sign or an advertisement. You got two apprentice or two amateur artists that are doing $50 palm size special tattoos, right? Something like that. You can't push the amateur beginner artists to do pieces kind of like that aren't in their that's not in their spectrum yet. I'm not saying that they were, but to get constant like little tattoos for nothing, supplies ain't cheap. But I'm not saying that here and there it wasn't bad, but it was just constant. At that point is where I started seeing that the shop was built, the foundation was gone. There was no foundation, to be honest. There's no one controlling the business. I'm not saying they weren't, but when you're working a full-time job and you're living in another state and your other partner is a full-time artist, I'm sure a lot of business people that are watching this or hear this are going to agree with me. Something's got to be focused on the business. And then having young amateur artists sport the advertisement or to bring in clientele and depend on that, your foundation is built on sand. And I'm going to say it again. Your foundation is built on sand. And then the waves are coming in and it's taking that sand and it's going to make your house crumble or shop crumble in this aspect. I'm not saying you had to hire a bunch of extremely good artists, because you could have the best artist in the world, the most amazing artist, maybe with the best clientele or with making a lot of money, but the business will not succeed if someone's that is not focused on the business. If it's just art or just tattoos and you're great, that's great. But if no one's focused on running the business, it can't run by itself. One artist alone that's good is not going to help the engine keep moving. Little engines, little wheels, and the little wheels are the little young artists, the new artists, isn't going to keep that business barely afloat. You know what I mean? This is my personal opinion, but that's just the way I saw it and the way I see it. And I just saw my way. I just saw the writing on the wall, the way the shop was headed. And at that point, majority of my clientele were my friends, my veteran friends, guys I serve with, and their family members, and my friends, or people I've met, or people who were referred through me. So my heavy hitters, I was bringing in like good sized pieces, like forearms and shoulders and thigh pieces, calves, and from $300 and up, and I was bringing in what I could. Um, the shop wasn't bringing in what they could, and barely got walk-ins because of the area and the location. Just wasn't a lot of walk-in traffic. There really wasn't, no matter what. Even with that school down the road, the school's facing that way. We're on the back side of them. They're not walking around to us to go home, or to 7-Eleven or to the store. Like maybe if we were right next to that school or right next to the shops, it's not that the area itself was bad. We're just too far off into the corner. Um, so I'm not saying it couldn't have been better, because eventually it would probably have gotten better. But you got to put advertisements. And speaking of advertisements, just like how I painted tattoo on the windows, did it on my own, not complaining. But what I will complain about is I created a flyer, I think two, but I know a solid one. That one took me like 3 days to create. I could knock out a flyer in like a day, but it's just gonna look very simple and cheesy. I wanted to make a really nice design flyer. I used to be a graphic designer, so I put a little bit of my graphic design knowledge and created a nice little flyer with a little incentive. And my idea for this was, when we get a UCF student, because we already had like at least one UCF student or college student, create them, bring them, take them, give them a flyer, hand them a bunch of flyers, have them hand it out, and he gets an incentive right there on the spot. I don't even care if he threw it away. He will probably most likely be happy that he got a discount. He's like, hey, I'd be happy with this new tattoo he got. He's going to take it back to the dorm, take it back to the college, or take it back to the little lunch area. Just place them on the table or take them up to his friends, and then give him an incentive if he brings somebody. And then that person who comes there with that flyer gets a discount. Whatever. You can go on and on with this whole idea of how flyers and discounts work. But what I'm saying is, I designed a flyer. I ain't paying for it to get printed. I already spent the only thing I'm getting paid for is the tattoos I do in the shop. If I get a tattoo in the shop, created a flyer, the owners, y'all should have printed it, is what I'm saying. I did the work. You guys go print it. I'm not flipping that bill for flyers to get printed. I've already painted some stuff on the walls, on the windows, created some of my own personal signs that if you take a picture in a shop and share it and tag it, you get a discount. I created that on my own, made signs. So I was already on the next. What else? Young artist, someone who's not in ownership with this business, shouldn't have to be doing that. That's the owner. That's the shop that should be doing that. But I did it anyway. So I wanted the shop to succeed, and it sad to say it didn't. Another thing with a shop, you can't have kids. You can't have kids in the shop. That's why I try to get the main artist and the owner to go check out a couple tattoo shops. They said they never been into a tattoo shop. Oh my God, how are you gonna open up a shop and never walk into a tattoo shop? Go check them out, get ideas, recon. They never been into one. Wanted to bring one of them, just go check out some, get some ideas, see how they look. I've been into plenty of them. I already know. I'm not saying you gotta look exactly like them, but you get an idea. And you'll see most of the time on those tattoo shops, so studios, it'll say right on the door, under 18, not allowed. Unless you're with a parent guardian, which typically they're probably gonna be like 17. They're just with their mom, like, Mom, I want a tattoo. Here we had kids running around in the shop, and I'm not saying one or two kids. We had like 5+ kids at times running around. It was so bad. I'm trying to set up my station with my chair, cleaned it, wiped it down, cavicide, the whole 9 yards, prepping for my next client. The kids are running around like it's a playground and running around on my studio chair and the chairs, So it's like they're also they're in my rolly chair, the chair I sit in, dropping it on the floor, using it as like playground equipment. And I mean, I could tell the chair was falling apart. Our equipment was falling apart, and they had kids just running around in this shop. And you can't have kids in the shop. You can't. Um, but I mean, that's whatever. Kids running around in the shop, arguing in the shop. There was not me arguing, but and if there was, I just started to be like, oh, this is kind of dumb. Like we have some clientele and some clientele. We had one clientele that was from the college, and there was some arguing going on with the main artist and his friend. It's like, come on, man. Like they're gonna go back to their college and tell their friends, like, "Oh, where'd you go?" Like, "Yeah, we went there, but there was some yelling going on in the back. We don't know. That's not good for business, man. It really isn't." So, just certain things you don't do at a studio. That was my first experience. That was my first shop I've been to. I'm grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful to have helped out and painted stuff on the walls and painted those things on the windows and created these backlit LED, created some cool backlit LED signs and brought in a couple of my arcades. They're not like the real arcades, they're like the arcade one up ones. Still, I mean, I thought made the shop give it a little more homey feel. It's like, yeah, you got some arcades here. So when people are waiting, they got something to play on. Like it was Pac-Man and Galaga. Brought those from my personal collection. I gave it to the shop, not complaining. I just wanted that shop to succeed and treat it like it was my own. If it was my own shop, that was what I would have done anyway. So I'm glad I got to experience that, give that to them, give them my time, and then at the same time they gave me their time as well, like opportunity to work there. And then the main artist, my mentor, I learned a lot from him. So um, I honestly wished it was going to do better. And as you can only, for me or any artist, and this is not just me. I mean, there was plenty of times I just wanted to just, what the fuck is going on with this shop, man? Like this is whatever. But I just kept sticking it out. I'm just old enough and wise enough to see the writing on the wall. I could see where it was going, and that no matter what I did or would do wasn't going to impact any more of what the shop, because you could sense it. The shop was already on a decline. It was built on sand. And if they don't see that, I don't know what else will change their mind. But again, my personal opinion, built on sand. There wasn't much more I could say or do. I got to a point where, the shop needs money. One day I hear, oh, I can make this shop run all alone on just by me. And then, but they're nagging all the young artists. We need to be bringing in 300 a week, 300 a week, whatever. Well, where's the shop on their side of that? And then when I do have somebody lined up, oh, they got to pay a deposit. Okay, I get it. I get that. I honestly do get that. But if there's a walk-ins and I don't have anyone else scheduled for that day, and then if there's barely walk-ins and no one's scheduled, then all I had to do was just tell this client I had scheduled, just walk in, because I open my big mouth and demands 50% deposit, which is kind of strange in some aspects. Sometimes I get 50%, but sometimes it's usually like $100 deposit or something, right? Whatever, doesn't matter. Really adamant about the deposit. Okay, fine, but contacted her. She's at work. She doesn't get paid till Friday, but he made his ultimatum: if she doesn't pay the deposit, she doesn't get tattooed Saturday. I'm like, well, now you're. Oh, and then on top of that, I still need to by Saturday have 2 people in. And there's my one person I want to have to tattoo, and it was like a $350 tattoo. So now you're taking money out of my pocket, you're taking food out of my plate, especially when they're saying the shop is hurting. And then when I say that, I thought the shop, oh no, Uh, I don't need nobody. I can make this shop do all good by just myself. I'm like, all right. At that point, I was already kind of fed up and, went in, grabbed my stuff, which I had a lot of stuff in there. I left my arcades because I gave them the arcades and a couple of the signs that I made for the shop for specific to the shop. All the other hand painted signs I made, I took those. Those are mine. And my posters, I had a lot of cool tattoo posters and flash framed and hung up. And then obviously my own personal effects. And I just took it and left. You know, and then a month later, after me leaving, I hear that the shop closed down. So it's like, damn. Like I said, it's all the writing on the wall. Not much more I can say about that, but uh, just happy for the experience and the opportunity. Um, I mean, if they do try open a shop again, the best of luck. I hope you guys also learn from that as well, and you can grow and learn from it, um, and do it different next time. I hope to see you guys succeed. You know, um, in the meantime, I'm just going to continue tattooing. I'm looking for a new shop. Uh, I got a couple shops that are potential shops right now. Um, you know, so it's all just downhill from here. You just got to continue to grind and be thankful for all the opportunities. I do not have any ill malice or feelings towards that shop. That was my first. It's like your first love, I guess, your first relationship in a way. I don't know. I don't even remember my first relationship. I don't even think that counts. But it's like your first car, I guess. You'll never forget your first car. And that car could have been a junker and always broke down on you. And gave you like headaches because something was always breaking down. But you always love it because it was your first car. Um, but yeah, it's kind of like that. I love that shop and I love the opportunity that I had and working with the guys I got to work with. I just hope the best for them. All this was just what I would have done, or suggested, other than other suggestions I already mentioned. But um, it's not always it's other aspects of this stuff too. So this is my first shop experience, but there's many more to come. Many more shop experiences. I think I'll leave it at this. That was a good opportunity. Learn from it. Get yourself up. Dust yourself off. Keep on going. Um, I would honestly suggest if you were to open your own tattoo shop as a tattoo artist, right? You gotta have somebody that's fully invested for the business side, or partial. Like both parties have to work together on the business aspect, and maybe have someone that's like a close friend that can handle like the administrative sides of things. But and I'm not saying they weren't, but what I'm saying is, if the one's the artist, go work at a shop. Go work there for 2 to 3 years. Be an artist at a shop, and then you'll have your first experience at working at a shop. And then when you reopen your shop or open up a new shop, you'll now have a lot more experience and um, um, gratitude, I guess, towards the tattoo industry. You'll gain more knowledge, more experience, and you'll go into a shop and it'll be more successful. And at at that point, your shop's already being built on stone because you now seated yourself, working and humbled yourself as just a tattoo artist for someone else's shop. I think that's very important. I think a lot of tattoo artists should have should be working at a shop before they even open their own. I mean, that's my personal opinion, obviously, my humble personal opinion. That's just the way I see it. I feel like if I was to open up a shop, say I had all the money in the world, I'd go freaking work at a shop. I say I was a millionaire and I was like, hey, this is fine, Danny. I could get up whenever I want, tattoo whenever I want. Even if I did, I would do that at a shop. I would just tell them, hey, I'm a million. I wouldn't even tell them I'm a millionaire. I would just be like, hey, I'm gonna be at a shop to learn the way a shop is run, the goods and the bads about a shop, what you would do, because you would pick up what you would do differently, and then go take that and go open up shop. Now, I bet you a lot of millionaires will just hire people for advice because they got all that money in the world, but that's not me. I like to work. I'm a tattoo artist. I'm just saying, have some shop experience first before opening up a shop. So that's that. Anyway, that was my first shop experience. Grateful for it, and I hope my future shop experience is good, if not better. I'm not expecting it to be, a lot of these younger kids are expecting their shop to be this dream-like shop. It's like, the perfect setting, the perfect place. You got to put into it what you want to get out of it, and that's what I did. Without complaint. This is my experience. If I did it again, I would do it again. I'd be more selective though of the shop and the location. I think. I think I'd be more selective. Obviously, if I came upon this same shop again, I don't know. I probably would do it again. That's just the way I am. If they needed help and they hired me, I would do things without complaint. It needs mopping. That's a shop. You should be, as a new tattoo artist. I'm gonna make a video about this. I'm gonna make a video about that. About these young tattoo artists. You better be out there mopping and not being told to do it. You should just be doing it. Treat that shop like it's your sanctuary. It is. It's your throne. It's your sanctuary. It's your shrine. You should be. If it's someone else's shop, you should be cleaning it, taking care of it without being asked or told. Yeah, I would do it again. I don't mind that. If they needed me to cut the vinyl, or if they spent the money and told me to slap the vinyl logos or whatever on the windows, I would do it, because I used to do that as a graphic designer. I used to do the production side. I actually told them that I would, like, hey, get it, print it. It'll probably cost you like $100. We take a measurement of the window, get it, print it, have them professionally print it out so it looks professional. Instead of hand paint it. Hand paint is not bad, but I would have spent a few $100s to get something a little bit more professional. I don't know. That's just me. Have some lights on the outside, some LEDs. Instead of LEDs on the inside, you have LEDs on the outside on the windows. LED open sign, LED neon tattoo sign. Then you can worry about the outside expensive $2,000, $5,000 sign on the outside later. I'm talking about on the inside of windows. You spend a couple $100s on those signs. It attracts people. They see a sign, it's lit up, it looks professional. The vinyl decals are cut professionally, placed on the window. It looks like a serious shop. My takeaway, or my feedback to what I did for the shop of hand painting the windows with tattoo, and I told them this, is, hey, I get it. We don't got the money. Again, going back to the pizza shop, how you going to open up a pizza shop if you don't have the money for a sign? Don't open up a shop. But going back to the hand painting, if it looks temporary, it's going to be temporary. If it's going to be permanent looking, your shop is going to feel, and you're in your mind, you already know this is going to be permanent. You know what I mean? If that makes sense, kind of, I guess. I don't know. To me, if it's like a permanent thing, it's like, hey, it's not permanent, but you know what I mean? It just looks like, hey, I'm destined, I'm planning on staying here and making this succeed. If you hand paint it, it's kind of like, hey, just throw something up there. But I don't know. Who am I? I don't know. I don't know anything about business, so this is just me and my experience. Oh yeah, that's that. This was supposed to be 30 minutes, and I could have ended it at 30 minutes, but I guess I had to just ramble on for a little bit more. Well, I hope you enjoyed this. If you came across this, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you don't mind me rambling on. If you do, if you don't, great. I hope to not ramble on so much. I just feel like, I want to talk about this, get it a little off my chest, make my YouTube thing about, tattooing and tattooing experience and my adventure and my journey into being a tattoo artist. This is something I've always should have done. Something I've been good at, and it's never too late. Glad I'm doing it now. And I look forward to seeing where this journey takes me. So this is my tattoo journey. It's like my little personal, tattoo journey. Um, I have another video I created. I'm doing this live because it's just easier to record. Straight to freaking computer. Bam, bada bing, bada boom, it's done. I recorded. I had to move my camera and do all the setup and record this little review I did on my tattoo books. I'm gonna be uploading that soon. That's just more difficult. I don't like sitting at a computer all day. I hate messing with editing programs. I hate sitting at a computer. I used to do as a graphic designer. I hate it. I think I mentioned that in my last video. I hate it. So I got somebody else helping me with this video I recorded. It's just got to be transferred into the computer, a little bit of editing on their part, and then we can upload it. This is just simple. I just record and turn it off, and then I can upload this anytime I want on YouTube. Even though this is considered live, I'm putting it in private and then allowing it to go public because I don't want to record live right now. It's just not meant to be like live. Plus, there'd be only like one person watching. So I'm gonna have another video coming up, me reviewing some tattoo books and things like that. And I don't know what else. We'll see. Maybe some tattoo tutorial videos, like fake skin, or do some fake skin stuff or something like that, or some machine reviews and things. And that'd be it. I think my next video vlog type thing, like similar to this, like I'm gonna do some reviews of books and machines and fake skin tutorials. I think my other video I'm gonna make is going to be about I mentioned it earlier. Shit, I'm getting old. I forgot. About oh yeah, that's what it was. The younger generation coming in tattooing and where it's coming from, the scratchers, the self-taught artists, and their attitude, or what could be changed in that aspect, because I can see it having some negative effects on the current situation if they don't rectify their mentality soon. There's things I've noticed and seen from at a shop and other people I know that are typically they're younger, they're just starting to. So yeah, I think there's some things that need to be changed, and if not, I mean, tattoo industry is always going to keep going. It's always going to keep changing, but certain things need to be changed. So for the better, though. I'm not saying like I'm trying to force my personal views and what I think is right, but maybe something just to talk about. All right, well, I'm gonna cut it off from here. I gotta go get something to eat, go work out later, and prepare for this tattoo I gotta do later tomorrow or later this week. All right, guys. Well, it's fun talking to you. I hope I can continue this YouTube journey as long as as well as this tattoo journey. And this will be it. Deuces.